Hey friends, so as some of you may know, I am starting a YouTube channel. Well, of course, everybody knows because you're here. Duh. Um, I am gonna be recording my process through my, I don't know, junior, senior. I think I'm a senior. I'm not really sure. Got some early credits, graduating early. Not sure what I am, but it is my last year of art school.
What? No!
I'm nervous. And to hold myself accountable through my last year, I went to record my process and just kind of like, I don't know, my journey, I guess, because honestly, as much as I would love to say that I have everything planned out after graduation, hey, I don't. I ain't got a clue. So, yeah, I'm gonna be recording my process, and if you want to stick with me, cool. If not, that's cool too.
Hey guys, so these are my character silhouettes, and I have 3 character design classes this quarter, so I have been so drained. I apologize if my drawings just aren't totally out there and whimsical and amazing and totally inspiring. I was drained. It's like the start of week 1 and I am just dead. So anyways, our professor wants us to design one inherently good character and then one inherently bad character. So I started out with these like clown / jester kind of silhouettes because I'm super into clowns. I just think they're so fun to draw. But I realized after, starting my silhouettes, I was like, these are kind of just, aesthetic driven. I had no real story going behind these characters, so I had to kind of pivot, and I do eventually end up scrapping these designs, which I may use them for a future use because I do think I like them, but it's just not quite serving the purpose of this assignment. So this whole assignment had me stressing from day 1, and this gets stretched out for quite some time. Of course, everything is clipped and edited, but this took me some time, y'all. Like, I was almost pulling an all-nighter on day 1 just to get these characters out. But anyways, you're gonna see the final rendition of my first pass here in a second, so here they are. I don't know, I think it's kind of cute, but anyways, I am, again, stressed.
Help! Help!
I can't do like a sun and moon like that. It's so cliche. We've seen it 100 million. Pack it up and let's get a move on. Sun and moon, we get it. Ooh, the moon is the bad one and the sun is the good one. Yeah, okay. What if you do something entirely unique?
Huh?
Now, I say unique, but unique can mean a bunch of different things depending on each person, so I mean, hey, it's good enough for me. I didn't have a lot of time to work on this, so my backstory was I eventually decided on having there be like a war between humans and monsters way back when, and I thought, okay, well, since I won, wizard and sorcery and magic and all that, maybe the monsters had powers but the humans didn't. And so the monsters were fighting for, power and territory, and with the humans having nothing to fight back against with, I'm gonna have, and I didn't draw him, but I decided to make this human wizard guy, and I thought it might be cool to have the humans' powers coming from the monsters, so they somehow found a way to extract their magic and then use it to fight against them. So after the war, the humans won and basically gave the humans a choice, the humans gave the monsters a choice to either assimilate into regular human life or be exiled. So I had the main bad guy, who I named Xander, and I was like, okay, well, maybe what if he assimilates into human life, and then it could be this funny thing where he's this super powerful guy, and then he just has to work at like a Chuck E. Cheese or something. And if you've seen A Devil as a Part-Timer, if you know, you know. That's where a lot of the inspiration came from for that. So I was like, anyways, okay, he works at a Chuck E. Cheese, and then, okay, what about the second character? So I ended up deciding that the human wizard from the war, maybe his descendant is the little assistant to the mentor. So her name is Sophie, and I thought she could be this like 13-year-old girl, and she's right about to go into high school, and she's had these like powers slowly unlocking inside of her, and she's trying to figure out how to use them, how to navigate her way through, learning magic and also through her studies. and all that. So maybe she found this hidden ancient library with these ancient texts, and it was, talking about the war between humans and the monsters, and maybe that's how she found Xander and was like, I wonder if he's still kicking and alive, because I think it might be, just convenient for me, mainly, if the monsters could live longer than the humans, so, that covers that plot hole, I guess. So she goes and finds him and is like, hey, can you help me with my magic? You're the most powerful monster alive, that was born with magic, so maybe you can help me. And maybe he helps her, maybe he doesn't. I haven't really gotten that far yet. Like, I have a few ideas, but I mean, it's just like a jumbled mess right now. I'm so sorry if it doesn't make any sense. I feel like every time I'm trying to explain my ideas to like my professors or my friends, I'm having to shove them down by their shoulders into a chair and just be like, please listen to me, please hear me out, because like none of what I'm saying makes sense until I fully draw it out and just have it, fully fleshed out and everything's perfectly explained and it's at its final stage in production. It's like, maybe your idea does kind of make sense, but until then, I'm just like desperately clinging on to this little inkling of trust between us. Like, I swear, Professor, I'm gonna get this turned in on time. It's gonna look good-ish, or, and I'm just like really, really hoping. But I don't know, our critique kind of went well. Obviously this is post the project, so I've already presented it and everything. And I don't know, it went okay. You could tell they're like, yeah, that's great, sweetie. But I don't know, I think they're fairly on board, so that's good enough for me. As long as I get my good grade and my project is done on time, I don't have too much to complain about, so I'm okay with that. Anyways, I feel like I am the slowest artist to ever exist, just for the fact that I will spend so many hours just on the mood board and the research process. And I mean, honestly, after art school, I've learned most of the drawing process is just the research, but I feel like I spend way too much time on it compared to other people, because I will spend like hours and hours and hours, and by the time it's, time for me to actually start drawing, hey, deadline's already here and I'm already behind. But I mean, I don't know, I think it's worth it just for me, because my mind is all over the place all of the time, constantly. And if I don't have everything perfectly planned out before I start drawing, it's just going to be a complete mess. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's worth it to me. But anyway, so for these two characters, I'm going to get a little bit into the process of their design. And I mean, I was kind of unsure when it came to Xander, the bad guy, because I had a pretty clear idea on Sophie. But I was trying to really incorporate the, I guess, shape language, and if you know the difference between the circles and the squares and triangles when it comes to character design, most characters will have one specific shape that is carried out through their entire design. So, for example, I really like, oh my gosh, Wreck-It Ralph, the, what was his name? Turbo? Or, I feel like that's wrong, I don't know. But the main villain in Wreck-It Ralph has these like hints of triangles in his little collar, and his head is fairly round, so he comes across as this like really soft and huggable and cute character, and his like rounded shoes and rounded gloves. But there's these hints of triangles in his design that may hint to a more dangerous side, so using that information, because triangles are more closely related to danger, circles are friendly, and then squares are more of a reliable and trustworthy character, sorry. So when it comes to Xander, I was trying to really incorporate the triangles and a bit of a square. So he has a squarish torso, a bit of a bigger upper body, and then I was trying to have these rounded triangles on his horns, and then a bit on his bow tie, and then the buttons on his, I guess, vest kind of thing. And then the triangles, the pointed edges on his tail are also a little bit rounded, so he's not, completely dangerous and, lethal. I mean, obviously he's like working at a Chuck E. Cheese retail establishment, so he's not all that scary. So anyways, that's a bit of his design. And then for Sophie, I mainly kept that roundish shape in her hair and her head. So she has a very rounded head minus the spiky bits on her ponytail, her side ponytail. And I incorporated some stars for, kind of that wizardy factor, but I also did round the edges on the points of her stars because I want her to be this kind of like this sweet character, but this underlying tone of, oh, she may actually be, kind of powerful, because throughout the story, I want to explore her magical abilities. And since she, has magical powers, then she has to be at least a little bit dangerous. So that's why I included those like pointed edges in some of her design. But overall, I think they go kind of well together as a pairing when it comes to their designs. So I don't know, I think I'm pretty happy with how they both turned out. I didn't have time to really dive into their full extent of their designs, but I'm probably going to have to design an ulterior form, especially for Xander, because, while the story is taking place, in present day, of course, way back then when they had the war, he was probably a lot more ferocious, and obviously he's not wearing that little uniform, so I'm probably gonna have to go back in and kind of just play with their designs a bit more, because I have a lot more that I want to explore with them. I really don't know why Xander was such a struggle for me to design. I thought he was going to be the easier one, but apparently not. I guess I struggled with his hair. That was one main thing for me. I kept going like back and forth and all of that because for some reason, I don't know why, I just can't bring myself to draw a guy with short hair. I don't know what it is. I've tried it many times, and then for some reason, me acting like I'm not the one doing it, I don't know, I redo it and I make them have long hair, okay? Guilty. I'm sorry. So anyway, although I am kind of liking the short hair I gave him in the beginning, so maybe I'll go back and change it. Maybe I won't. Who knows? We'll have to see. But anyways, I really like his final design, I think. He just looks very fun and also kind of pathetic, and that is, I don't know, I have a special loser-shaped hole in my heart for those kinds of characters, so I may end up doing something with him after this class, or who knows? I don't know. I'm all over the place. We'll see where it goes. Remember my freshman year of art school, I really, really, really wanted to be a character designer, and oh my gosh, thank goodness I did not go down that road, because I think it was like, my second quarter at SCAD, school name drop. Hey, I go to SCAD, and I was like, I had a character design class or something of the sort, and I started doing it, and I was just slowly realizing, hey, this isn't for me, just because character design and concept art takes literal ages. It's so much research and ideation and all this work that you have to put into it, because I think a lot of people will forget that art isn't just drawing. I mean, there is tons of research and work that you actually, have to do that is put into your work, especially if it's in concept art, because you are the foundation and the starting point to all projects. There is no project without the concept art. You need the concept to actually start the work. So anyways, when it came to character design, I just got really overwhelmed with all of my work, so it was too much for me, and I figured, hey, well, as much as I love doing the research part of it, I just want to do the drawing part, so I changed my concentration to book covers and publication, because I'm already given the concept, and I just have to make the artwork, from there, so I don't have to design the characters. I'm already taking the characters, and I'm just drawing from what I already have. So I've gotten, quite a few commission works since my freshman year. I've learned a lot since then, and I am just thankful to all the concept artists out there, because you're doing what I can't. I'm just too lazy for it. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'll find it in my heart to do it one day again. I don't know. I mean, I kind of have to for school, but in my free time, I'll make OCs here and there, but it's nothing serious, nothing professional level of work. I just can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. I think another thing about art school is that I've really had to learn how to manage my time, because my first few quarters here, I was pulling all-nighters by the week. I mean, I stood up for 5 days straight, And I would love to say that was a one-time thing, but it kept happening over and over and over again. I was always tired. I was always drained. It literally it was horrible. So I was just constantly tired, and I finally, I guess my second year, found a way to manage my time and, focus on work outside of school, social life, and all that. So if you're thinking of going to art school and you haven't yet, I would make sure your priority is figuring out, how to manage your time, because I know it sounds like such an obvious thing, but if you burn yourself out, you're just going to want to drop out. You're going to have no motivation to create anything anymore. And it really sucks because I've lost a lot of good friends that have dropped out since freshman year because of that exact same reason. And I mean, of course, there's the issue of cost of art school and all that. So, I mean, it is, of course, a really big commitment to, come to an art school and do that. But I think, if it's what you really want to do, then don't let anybody else stop you, because there's always going to be someone out there, at least one person that's telling you, don't do it and blah, blah, blah. You just got to block them out. Again, if you want to do it and you think you can do it, then go ahead and do it. But take care of yourself, because it is not a fun road to be, bright-eyed and super excited, and then you go in art school and you're ready to draw, and then you drop out like a quarter later just because you're so drained. So please, please, please take care of yourself. I didn't record absolutely everything I did for this project because this video would be way too long, but I did a few other exploration sketches. I did a bit of a portrait, speed paint of Xander, which I might include. And I just had all this stuff to do, and unfortunately my class was at 11 a.m. and I was so used to most professors, and this is not me hating, this was totally on me, but most professors usually have the work due, before the class. So in my case, I was thinking 10:59. Well, I looked at the syllabus, and as I was talking about earlier, I did in fact have to stay up very late for this project, so I turned it in at 5 a.m. thinking, I'm good, that's it, right? And then our professor the next day goes, "Hey guys, so a lot of y'all turned in your stuff late," and I was like, "Oh, that's not me, I'm fine." He goes, "It was due midnight before class," and I go, "Oh!" So my work was late, and I'm gonna get 10 points deducted automatically. Again, totally my fault, but it is just so hard to keep up with all of this work and turning everything on time, and I mean, it shouldn't be that hard, but here I am, struggling. So anyways, maybe I'll share my grade, maybe I won't. If I get a bad grade, you'll never see me again. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, now I am working on Sophie's turnaround, and I had a lot of fun with her, and she was not as hard to figure out as Xander was. I had a very specific idea for her, so you'll see me knock out her turnaround pretty quickly. And I kind of want to do a mini project with them. I have no idea what I'm going to do. It's just I'm already attached to these characters, and I think it would be a shame to put in all this work and then never use their designs again. So we'll have to see. Maybe I'll do a mini comic series outside of class, or just make some illustrations here on the side. What are they called? Splash art scenes or something like that. Who knows? We'll figure it out together. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had for this video, so hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll find time to post again soon. So thank you for sticking with me. So it's 2 a.m. and I actually finished pretty early tonight, so I'm gonna go to bed and then get back to work because I have an 8 a.m. that I need to catch. So I'm gonna go to sleep and do it again tomorrow.
Julian!